Do the Work is Steven Pressfield's follow-up to The War of Art, where he gives you actionable tactics and strategies to overcome resistance, the force behind procrastination. The War of Art was one of my favorite summaries on Blinkist, so I thought I'd give Steven Pressfield's 2011 follow-up a go. His main theme throughout these books is resistance, the inner force that lets you procrastinate on work, even though it's most important to you. While the first book describes resistance in all its facets, Do the Work takes you through actually overcoming it. Here are the 3 things I learned. 1. If your work truly matters to you, the fear around it will never subside. 2. Never take action and reflect on your work at the same time. 3. Let your work itself be the biggest reward for working. Let's take a deep dive. Lesson 1. If your work is important to you, the fear of doing it will never go away. We always think that if we practice enough, we'll get so good we'll never have any problems with our work ever again. But that's not true. Henry Fonda was so obsessed with acting that he had to throw up before coming on stage, every single time, even when he was 75 years old and a world-famous actor already. If you truly care about your work, you'll always be worried about your performance. And that's a good thing, because it means you're still trying to get better. So don't stop when you're afraid, and instead move on in spite of fear. After all, this is the definition of courage. Lesson 2. Don't take action and reflect at the same time. Guess what the worst time is to edit a blog post? Right after you wrote it. It'll be impossible to objectively reflect on your work because you just finished it and are naturally proud of what you did, and you should be. But that's why it's important to give yourself some temporal and physical distance before judging your work. I'll even take it a step further and suggest this. When in doubt, don't reflect at all. For example, I found it's much easier to just write another blog post instead of perfectly editing the last one. That's why I usually just write, press publish, and instantly write more. Lesson 3. Your work should be the biggest reward for your work. Resistance is a nasty thing. The perfect example happened to me today. It's January 1st, which means I stayed up late for New Year's Eve yesterday. However, I already had a sleep deficit from getting up at 5 a.m. for the past 2 weeks to write these summaries every day. Staying up until 2 a.m. broke the camel's back, and I slept in, completely blowing my routine. Naturally, I had to overcome tons of resistance to write this today. But I love writing these, and I have created a summary every day for the past 15 days, so I can't just give up now. Looking back at how far I've come already made me want to continue. So when you're down and about to give up, look at what you've accomplished already, and let it drive you to do even more. Then ask yourself 2 questions. How badly do I really want this? Why do I want this? You better be totally committed to it and feel like you have no other choice but to do it. Because that's the kind of work worth pursuing. Got it. Thank you for listening to THAKURI Studio, where stories come to life. If you enjoyed this audiobook, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share it with fellow book lovers. Stay tuned for more incredible stories. And until next time, keep the magic of books alive in your mind.